We'll now talk about how to do arithmetic with complex numbers. By arithmetic, I mean simple things you learned in grade school: adding and subtracting numbers, multiplying numbers. Adding and subtracting complex numbers is actually pretty straightforward. All I have to do is add the real parts and add the complex parts separately. So in general, if I have something like a plus bi, which is one complex number, and I'm adding c plus di, I just add the real parts and I add the imaginary parts. So this is not too bad. Now, the tricky part is what happens with multiplying. And for this, I have to remember to FOIL. Right? I have to distribute a to both terms of c plus di and bi to both terms of c plus di. So I almost imagine it like a quadratic. So treat this like multiplying two degree 1 polynomials. So what do I end up with? I get a times c here, a times di here, bi times c here, and bi times di here. And everything looks good. I put the terms involving I here. But then this AC gets put together with BDI squared. And that's just because I squared equals -1. So BDI squared is really negative BD. With these tools, we can compute lots of arithmetic with complex numbers. So let's look at some examples. I want to simplify each of these. So let's start with 3 plus I times -2 minus I. So let's say I get -6 minus 3I minus 2I minus I squared. So let's see, -6 minus 5I, and then minus I squared becomes plus 1. So I get -5 minus 5I. Here, I get 4 plus 2I times 4 plus 2I, which is 16 plus 8I plus 8I plus 4I squared, which gives me 16 plus 16I minus 4, so 12 plus 16I. Here I have a more complicated one. I have 1 plus I squared. So this will give me 1 plus I squared times I minus 1. So the 1 plus I squared will give me 1 plus 2I plus I squared, 1 minus I. Let's simplify this. What is 1 plus I squared? That's going to be 0, right? Because I have 1 plus 2I minus 1. So I have 2I times 1 minus I. And now I have 2I minus 2I squared. So 2I plus 2. And here I just distribute and get I squared plus I, so -1 plus I. Okay, so in all of these cases, it was just a matter of distributing correctly and then combining terms that have either real parts or imaginary parts. And the main part here was remembering that I squared is equal to -1. So minus I squared is +1. If you just do some practice with these, I think you'll find that they're not too difficult.